First up, we have Micala Gingrich Gaylord. Micala is a local artist and a CEO of Comfort Care Homes. She studied art and sculpture at University of Kansas and has a community art practice here in Wichita, working out of a studio at Harvester Arts. Micala has worked over the years with both youth in care, incarcerated people, and elders in dementia settings. Now Micala works at a community-based practice incorporating art and community voices to evoke conversation and curiosity with mixed media work. She is passionate about advocacy in aging and how an artist can have a unique and unorthodox approach to elder care. Let's welcome Micala Gingrich Gaylord. Oh, you want the mic?
Okay. Love is Memory is my project I'll be talking about tonight. It is an audio sound sculpture that was created by community members in Wichita throughout the last year. It's also a nod to my dad. It was February 22nd, 2022 at 2 p.m., and it was 22 degrees outside. It was also the moment that my dad, Terry Merle Rush, passed away. We knew my dad had been sick for a long time. He had kidney failure. This is a picture the day we were being taught how to do dialysis. This is Andrea, his dialysis nurse. I remember her name. These moments get stuck with us and cemented as part of us. Death and dying has been something I've been interested in for a long time. I work as a CEO of a dementia and Alzheimer's community. I don't need to tell you what that means. People are at the end of their life. Objects have always been important reminders for me, whether it was a passing of a person or a time. I had a friend, in fact, bring me her old wedding dress after a 25-year marriage stopped and turned it into a sculpture. I documented through 2020 the multiple emails of residents who passed from COVID-19. I felt that I could not let them pass without some sort of moment in time that I captured. But what happens when it becomes your own? What happens when it's close to your cells? When your body can't forget? When it's your dad? From 2020 to 2022, I lost my grandfather first, my dad, and 4 months later, my father-in-law. These men all had a huge impact on my life. They taught me about the very thing we're doing today. They were all orators. It was in their blood. My grandfather was an Episcopal priest. Father Jim loved to talk, but more than that, he loved to be listened to. And my dad was not much different. He was a storyteller, a songwriter, and a performer. And while he didn't go to the biggest shows, he didn't have the best CDs, his passion for making art has stuck with me and has been with me to this very day as I stand on this stage. My father-in-law, Curtis, was also a storyteller, a musician, and a poet. He could tell you a story you didn't even know you wanted to hear and talk far longer than you thought you wanted to listen. His instrument of choice was the harmonica. Audio and photos is often what we have that remains. They become anthems for remembrance. And this act of anthropology and art is something that I have done almost my entire life, all the way back to when I was 8 and got my first sound recorder. At present, I have 391 voice recordings on my phone. I think I've added a couple since then. People often say, oh God, Micala's pulling out her phone. And I say, that's right. I also get made fun of for the nearly 37,001 photos on my camera. Digital media has been great for me and has become the material source for my work. In Roz Chast's book, Can We Talk About Something More Pleasant, there's an excerpt of her going through her parents' items when they've passed. The mundane, the things we don't think matter, that in fact, at the end of life, become proxies that are quite precious to us. The monuments that we put up in our world, the obelisks, became the first inspiration for my piece. This form, and how would I create a monument of memory? But I wanted to hear from the living. I wanted to know what their objects meant and why they represented love and meaning. I gathered seniors from all over Wichita and asked them for an offering and a story. What they left with me was often incredibly personal. Notes from their husband, artifacts from their home, keys that their kids had used to open the door they lived in for 38 years. All of these became proxy for their memories, and I thought, don't leave them, but it turns out they still have the memory. When this sculpture is ignited with light, the memories come to life. You hear the audio and you hear the stories of the individuals and see the objects they left. It is currently on exhibit at the Ulrich Museum until May 20th. And the Monument of Memory has become a proxy for my dad, a moment in time that has passed, yet unmistakable presence of something beautiful and ghostly. It was February 22nd, 2022 at 2 p.m. when my dad died.